Oh my God. MVP, MVP. I'm not talking about the meal. I'm talking about the Cal Raleigh versus Aaron Judge. That's right. The MVP award. Who's going to win? The American League, the NL MVP, the American League MVP. We got Shohei Ohtani. That's going to be our lock. We'll have him as NL MVP. It's just crazy what he's been doing for the game of baseball. But at the end of the day, guys, we got a debate today on what the heck and who the heck decides on the players who win, right? So how does it work? How does the process work for MVP award? And who deserves to win the award? And how I would choose the award. And then how to make, that's right, creamy mushroom soup with beef. That's right, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is such an easy meal that you can collectively do while you're talking about sports. I've been doing a little bit of cooking, a little bit of talking. Let's talk about Yankees baseball, Mariners baseball, the MVP award, the Baseball Writers Association, and how to cook beef, creamy mushroom, loco mocos. Let's get it. All right, guys, we got the beef right here in the Ziploc bag. We got 2 onions. That's right. We got 2 cream of mushroom Campbell soup jars, along with, that's right, the easy peasy garlic salts for seasoning, on onion powder, and then a little bit of minced garlic. We're going to go ahead and heat this baby up. Extra virgin oil spray. Go ahead and just get that thing going. But guys, seriously, the one thing I want to talk about today is the MVP award. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Cal Raleigh? Is it going to be Aaron Judge? First and foremost, drop a follow, guys. If you guys like sports trading cards, Pokemon cards, collecting, sports in general, this is the place for you. If you guys like going and attending card shows, collectible shows, you've come to the right place. Because we also host, that's right, card shows, collectible shows. And I also host series on how the heck to cook and how to chef it up in the kitchen. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. You know what I'm saying? So we got the beef up in here, just like, hey. All right, go ahead and get some onion powder. Put a bit in there. A little bit of pepper. Go ahead and get the pepper going. But guys, if you guys need a quick and easy meal, this is seriously super simple. It's just beef, a couple onions, a little bit of Campbell's soup. You mix it all together and voila. Go ahead and throw a little bit of minced garlic on there. Get it nice and going. I like to get a little bit more garlic because I like garlic. Boom, boom. That's it. All right, guys, let's spice it up like this conversation we're going to have. Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh. What's the process like? Do you guys know what the heck it means to become an MVP? You are the most valuable player. That's the acronym. But let's go ahead and discuss what the heck the MVP award means, right? It's written on Baseball Writers Association, bbwaa.com. That's where they have the rules, the official rules of all the different awards and how they break them down and how they actually vote. If you guys were wondering about the process, that's what I'm going to do today. Talk about how the heck I'm going to cook this meal, how the MVP award gets voted, right? How it actually works, the rules of the award, who's eligible to vote, right? All those things matter because I think that first and foremost, you need to be qualified, right? So these guys are all qualified guys and gals throughout the country. We got our 15 major cities. 2 of them, 30 total, will be selected, and they get to become a writer for the BBWAA, which is an association where people cover baseball teams. And then based on the coverage of the teams, they get hand-selected and chosen to become voters for the MVP award. So it's as simple as that. They're qualified guys that cover the game of baseball that are eligible to vote for the MVP award itself. Nice, we got the garlic in there going, adding some flavor. I'm going to go ahead and just chop up these onions really quickly. But 30 teams in baseball. There's an AL MVP and an NL MVP. I'm going to go ahead and just share real quick right there what the definition of an MVP is, right? Understanding the rules and how they're written, right? Because everything in life is perceived and also comprehended differently depending on what we're talking about. So based on the simple rules, this is what the writers and the voters look at, besides all the stats that the players obviously are going to accumulate throughout the year. But they have these basic guidelines on what and who is eligible to become the most valuable player. Here's the list. The way that I break it down, I'm not going to go too in depth about who deserves it, because I think we could all agree that Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh both deserve to win the MVP award. But I'm going to keep it simple and break down a couple little things that I think are very interesting based on how the award is actually given and received, the qualification process, and how it works, right? So there's a point system. Each particular voter gets to choose 10 players in baseball, MVP award, right? Point system. First place is 14 points. Second place is 9 points. All the way down to the 10th place person that you have on your list is only worth 1 point. So there's going to be 10 guys voting. Number 1, Cal Raleigh, 14 points. Number 2, Aaron Judge, 9 points. Number 3, whatever, worth X amount of points. That's how it's broken down, AL and NL. If you guys are wondering, there have been co-MVP awards in the game of baseball. You can date back and look. It actually has happened. Willie Stargell and Keith Hernandez did become and were MVPs in the same season. What I'm trying to say, guys, we're going to have the MVP award tomorrow, and it's going to be, somebody's going to earn it, whether it be Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge or both of them. But my point is, there is a world in which we can have co-MVP awards. And after I was doing all my different research, figuring out who the heck I would vote for if I was on the Baseball Writers Association, because that's what you have to actually be a part of to be eligible to vote, right? The way it works, it's not players, it's not coaches, it's not fans that are voting for the MVP award. It's writers on the Baseball Writers Association who are sitting down and deciding on who they think is the most valuable player. And it's as simple as this, guys. It's a point system, right? So they're going to choose 10 players on a list. So they're going to get a ballot. They're going to get to write down the 10 players. The 10 players that make the finals will be on there. So there'll be a list of ones beforehand. But then they'll get to rank them 1 through 10. 14 points for first place vote and 1 point for the 10th place vote. There is a way in which every single person, if there's 10 voters, let's say one person voted for Cal Raleigh for the first place vote, and then that same person voted for Aaron Judge. And let's say it went that same sequence for every single player for Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. That's a voter, not player. Every voter that votes for all of them, if they have 5 of them in which are Aaron Judge first place votes, and then 5 of them Cal Raleigh, and then 5 of them are Cal Raleigh first place and second place Judge, there will be an opportunity to see co-MVPs. And I really hope that there will be an opportunity to see that, because I think it'll be good for the game of baseball, for one, with everything that happened this year in the game of baseball. There was so much history, so much good, so much going on that made the game better. And I think this can kind of summarize and recap the season with excellence. Let's go into the stats, right? I'm going to keep it simple. Aaron Judge versus Cal Raleigh. We all know Cal Raleigh had 60 home runs. Aaron Judge fell short, had 7 less home runs. The on-base percentage went to Aaron Judge. The slugging percentage went to Aaron Judge. It was crazy how lopsided those particular stat lines were. Along with on-base plus slugging, which is a combination of how many times you get on base plus how many times you hit for power. So you have singles, doubles, trippers, homers, right? So if you have a home run in a game, right? Let's say you had 3 at-bats to make it simple. each particular I'm just going to go ahead and teach you how to do slugging real quick. You calculate it just like this. A double is worth 2, a triple is worth 3, a home run is worth 4, and a bat is worth 1. So if I hit a home run on my first at bat, I have a 4-to-1 ratio. If I end up getting out every single next time I'm up and I have 4 total at bats and I have 1 home run, I was 4 out of 4 as far as the thing. So I have 1,000 slugging percentage. You see how that works? So it's your on base plus slugging. So you get a walk, that also counts for your OPS. Your slugging percentage, it's just the times that you get on base, the total bases divided by how many times you went up to bat. At bats and plate appearances are 2 different things. Well, that's a whole other discussion. We are making currently, guys, beef with creamy, that's right, creamy mushroom soup with a little bit of onion powder, garlic salt. And I want to talk about the MVP award. So Jeff, if it were you and you were on the Baseball Players Association, and Jeff, if it were you and you were part of the BBWAA, the Baseball Writers Association, you got an opportunity to vote for the particular MVP award, who would you vote for and why? And I went back and forth and I tried to look at all the different things to try to figure out, my reasoning and who I would select, right? Would I choose Aaron Judge or would I choose Cal Raleigh? That's the debate that everyone's talking about. And let's talk about some of the highlighted points that people have been making, right? So the highlighted points that people have been making for Aaron Judge. He leads all the big categories. OPS, slugging percentage, average, walks. Those are all the power metrics from an offensive standpoint that we look for, right? We've got to look at both sides of the ball, right? We got offense and we have defense. Aaron Judge plays right field. Cal Raleigh plays catcher. So if you guys didn't know, the catcher is involved in pretty much every single play during the game. He has to talk to the pitcher. He has to talk to the umpire. He has to talk to the coach. He has to talk to all the players. He's got to relay the messages. There's a lot of in-game going on, where as a right fielder, just to give it in perspective, I played right field. It's one of the easiest positions in baseball, if not the easiest position to play. Left field or right field are the easiest positions to play. You got the least amount of ground to cover, and all you got to do is move forward and back and make a throw to 3 different positions, maybe first base here and there. But it's not the hardest position. The hardest position, if we are ranking them 1 through 9 on hardest positions to play, number 9 is right field. Number 1 is, that's right, catcher. The hardest position is catcher. So if you look at the rule book, right, when going back to MVP award and what they talk about, number 2 category is games played. How many games played did you actually play during the season? There's 162 games in a year. Cal Raleigh played 159 games at catcher. Catcher. He's squatting and catching the entire game. And traveling, going on the plane. He's playing back-to-backs, extra innings, the whole deal. He's talking to the players. Then you could argue as well how much game time energy is being absorbed and exhausted, right? And this is an argument that I'll talk to people because this is the eye test. This is the game within the game that people don't talk about. This is not a stat. This is just straight grit. This is straight, the Cal Ripken Iron Award type of mentality is what I'm trying to get at right here. Is this guy has to not only catch the entire game, he has to communicate with the pitcher. So he has to make sure that that's going well. He's got to prepare before the game and after the game because you got to understand what your pitchers are throwing. You got to understand who the runners are on the opposing team to see exactly how to figure out the offense of the opposing players and the speed of the opposing players. Where Aaron Judge in right field, he has 2 different responsibilities. Position placement and how fast are the runners on base. That's all he has to worry about from a defensive perspective. Where do I play on defense? So there's a signal and there's cards that are being relayed to the outfielders. Hey, this guy hits it more often over here. You should be positioned here. So every single player, there's going to be a particular placement for the players. So as a right fielder, your responsibility is literally to just go to that particular position and then look and get ready for the next particular play on defense. And a lot of times you're eating sunflower seeds, you got your hands in your pocket, you're talking to the fan. Cal Raleigh, he's asking balls from the next guy. He's dealing with, the ball boy over here, the umpire, the coach, the headset, the dirt, his cup being adjusted because you're not wearing a cup in right field. I mean, there's 19 different things going on, bro. Like, this isn't freaking show up to work and clock in and now we're out, like right field. This is a full-time operational situation here. This is literally like, the guy in the call center when he's landing a plane and he has to tell you, hey, this is exactly the time that you have to land or else you're going to die. It's not that crazy, but I'm just trying to give you an understanding of the level of actual brain power it takes to be a catcher and to be able to play the position at a very, very high level. Let's talk about Cal Raleigh, right? And what he did this year. 60 home runs, 159 games played at catcher. He also played at the hardest statistically offensive ballpark to play at as a position player. So if you ranked all the ballparks from 1 to 30, Mobile Park was ranked 27, 28, 29, or 30. They were the bottom 4 as far as all the metrics. When you talk about metrics at a ballpark, how hard is it to hit a home run? The atmospheric pressure in the sky and in the air, the humidity, the weather, how hot or cold, where's the wind blowing? There's calculations that basically say, hey, based on everyone playing the game here, these are the results based on everyone else playing the game at this particular location. So Mobile Park, Seattle, where the Mariners play, they're ranked literally on the very bottom tier of hardest ballparks to hit at. Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs at one of the hardest ballparks to hit at. He's playing half the games at home, half the games on the road, right? He hit 30 home runs at home at one of the hardest parks to hit at. So he's not like he's doing it. So we talk about Aaron Judge, right? That argument's out the window because Cal Raleigh hits at a lot harder ballpark. So we can put that one to bed. Cal Raleigh had a harder at bat every single evening. Okay, he had to hit in Seattle half of the games, where Aaron Judge played at Yankee Stadium for half the games. And look at the splits at New York in comparison to Seattle as far as the offensive metrics. They're pretty lopsided. But anyways, let's go back into Cal Raleigh and what he accomplished and what he did. And going back to the actual award and the Baseball Writers Association and how they actually calculate the award, right? So they have these guys that are qualified that look at 10 players and they rank them first place, 14 points, last place, 1 point. So Cal Raleigh, how I went about ranking and voting for the MVP award. I am going to go ahead and vote. If I had to make the decision, that's right. I would vote for Cal Raleigh for the MVP award. Congratulations, Cal. And I'm crazy to say this because after looking and analyzing, and my vote changed within the last 30 minutes. And the reasons are these. They don't talk about, if you look at the actual award again and how it's described, it says you can't take in consideration playoffs in regular season. They start to vote before the playoffs even start, right? So the way I looked at it, the 3 things that are right there, line 1, line 2, line 3. Cal Raleigh ended up playing more games, and he was the line 1 was who was more important to your team on offense and defense, the team that you play for. So when you look at the New York Yankees and the Seattle Mariners, just the team itself, who's more important to the team for offense and defense? If you're just looking at just the rules and then 2 players and you set them side by side, Cal Raleigh earns the point there. So I get a check mark for Cal. The next one talks about games played. Cal Raleigh had more games played than Aaron Judge. And he he does play a much harder position. With that being said, we got to put the creamy mushroom soup in here before I get crazy here. Because I want to see the comment section, all you Yankee fans that try to defend this. Because that's right. He has historical seasons. Aaron Judge, my goodness, my boy, my guy, dude. You had one of the best offensive seasons in the history of the game. You did. It was actually incredible what you did this year for the New York Yankees. And then when we go back to the beginning, there is a possibility, that's right, a possibility of having co-MVPs. You look at the numbers like a video game, and you're like, dude, this guy's unbelievable. Every single stat is off the charts for Aaron Judge. He only has 2 more triples. Cal Raleigh didn't hit a triple. He has more doubles. He has less home runs. He has a higher slugging percentage, which calculates, again, all those things. But if we're looking at just, specifics, and we're looking at the rule book at itself and going into the 1, 2, and 3, the other one was sportsmanship, how he conducts himself on and off the field. I would admit that both of them are great human beings. They've done a lot for the game of baseball. None of them have problems on or off the field. So that's good. That could be a coin flip when you're voting for that particular one. So they're both decent human beings. They both had phenomenal years. What did they do this year that deserves the MVP award? With that being said, the biggest point that I want to make as a baseball player that played baseball at a high level is the ability to hit at places. I played baseball at the University of Hawaii, one of the hardest places to hit in all of the country based on the things we're talking about. The winds, the atmospheric pressure, the temperature, the where it goes, left to right, right to left, how it blows, in and out of the ballpark, right? As a hitter, I can tell you there was many times where I got all the baseball, and in 99% of the ballparks that you play at, it would have been a home run, but it was an F8. So with all that being said, the average has to be completely taken away from Cal Raleigh. I think it's an irrelevant stat based on ballparks in which you play against and based on the competition and who you're playing against. So to put those arguments to bed, if you look at team ERA overall, the Seattle Mariners had a better team ERA than the New York Yankees. I know Aaron Judge is not a catcher, but Cal Raleigh manages the pitching staff. So that metric alone gives point to Cal Raleigh right there alone. If you look at team ERA by division, right, you have the AL East and the AL West. In the AL East, you have the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Baltimore Orioles. I went ahead and did my research on team ERA for each one and how Cal Raleigh did against his respective division in comparison to Aaron Judge. And it was interesting because people keep saying and bashing the AL West, but if you look, the team ERA with the best pitching staff in baseball this year that's correct, the Texas Rangers, who, yes, that's right, played in the AL West. And if you guys know, there's 162 games in the season. You play more games versus your division. So what I'm trying to say is you not only had to play and face harder pitching than everyone else. If you look at 1 through 5, the Angels and the A's, terrible pitching staff. Bottom 5 in the league. But then if you go to the AL East, Baltimore Orioles were bottom 5 in the league as well. And if you look at the Blue Jays, they're kind of mid-tier. And then you have Seattle and Houston in the AL West in that top, 15 in ERA in the league. So however you want to look at it, comparing ballparks, comparing pitching staffs, comparing, how to calculate the actual award itself. When I look at the actual meal here and I see how beautiful it is and how it's going to fit right into my stomach after I put an over easy egg on top of this beautiful thing that I've created for the family. Thank God for the beautiful meal. Thank you so much for the influence. And that looks actually fantastic. We're almost done here, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Only put 1 onion. I'm going to save one of the soups for another time. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 little piece into the pot here that I forgot. And I like to add, that's right, Japanese barbecue sauce. A little bit of that will go in with the flavors. Nothing too crazy, just to give a little extra. Oh yeah. Cheap on. I think they're both well deserving though. So it's just unfortunate though for all the players in the NL because you have to go against Shohei Ohtani. So you're just never gonna have an opportunity. But just to keep it simple, guys, Aaron Judge, 1145. That's right, on the OPS. 948 for Cal Raleigh. That's 97 points higher for Judge. Okay, 98 points higher for Judge for on base percentage as well. That was 457 to 359. Cal had 7 more homers, but Judge had a 688 and a 30 doubles, where Raleigh only had 24 doubles. 99 points higher in slugging for Judge. So, with that being said, you could talk about walks as well, your strikeout to walk ratio. You could talk about so many different things, right? Who's protecting you in the order, right? The Yankees, my opinion, stack up a little better offensively than the Mariners. So you look at protection. What does protection mean? It means, all right, who do I have before and after me in the lineup? And there's not much protection for Cal, with an exception of Julio Rodriguez, who did very well in the second half, but there was not a lot of protection in that first half. So my vote, with all that being said, is I hope for a co-MVP award because I think that it should shape out that way, because I really don't think that one is more deserving than the other. But if I had to choose, I'm definitely picking Cal Raleigh based on the two things: being a catcher, managing a pitching staff, having the ability to hit at one of the toughest ballparks in the entire baseball. That's all I need to know. You're a great human. You guys made it to the World Series. I know that doesn't matter when it comes to voters, but congratulations to both of you guys for making it this far. You guys are more than deserving, and hopefully we find out tomorrow that they get it right, because, again, I really hope that a co-MVP happens. That'd be my vote. I know you can't actually vote for co-MVPs on the ballot. It's literally just comes down to what the results come out as. So it'll be fate. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments who's winning the MVP, Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge. And let me know. I don't want to hear about this F war, B war, this war, that war, and the other. The eye test says Cal Raleigh caught 159 games and had to operate a pitching staff in between innings, during the inning, before and after the game, where Aaron Judge gets to eat sunflower seeds, gets to just hang out in the same position and just focus on one thing, and that's right, hit the baseball. Cal's got to worry about the offensive side and the defensive side, and that's why Shohei Ohtani is the greatest of all time, because he can do both at a high and elite level. All right, folks, we'll see y'all soon. I'm Jeff. Make sure you guys come to the Ultimate Banger Card Show. That's right, we have another one coming up in December. We have the Ultimate Con in January. Make sure you get your tickets right now before the video ends, because if you don't, I'm going to make sure that you do. Just kidding. I love you. We'll see y'all soon. Have a great day.